When the cameras stop rolling on the Dick Van Dyke Show, Mary Tyler Moore takes a gamble, makes a break for Broadway, and accepts what seems to be the perfect role.
Wherever you're going.
Audrey Hepburn's Holly Golightly in a staged adaptation of the classic film Breakfast at Tiffany's. That's Mary, alongside her young and sprightly leading man, Richard Chamberlain.
That was your one venture into Broadway, and it seemed to have everything.
It sure did.
And it was the super-duper flop.
Super duper.
As Mary's dreams on the Great White Way quickly fade, the resilient actress decides to take her dance steps to the silver screen.
I must study you if I'm going to be an actress. You see, the theater today is full of ruthless women.
She did have a pretty nice role in Thoroughly Modern Millie, which was opposite Julie Andrews.
It showcased her wonderful skills.
But just as the young ingenue is about to regain her stride, her next role opposite Elvis Presley has the actress reciting a whole lot of Hail Marys.
I'm a member of the Order of the Little Sisters of Mary.
She did play a nun, hence the change of habit title.
The film Change of Habit hits far from gold at the box office. It would turn out to be the King's last dramatic role in a movie and Mary's last appearance on the silver screen for more than a decade.
Mary Tyler Moore's career kind of bumped around here and there for a while aimlessly.
Then, the woman who dazzled the world as Laura Petrie is asked to reunite with her former co-star in a television variety special called Dick Van Dyke and the Other Woman.
We showcased her. She danced, we did sketches.
Remember when I said I'd like you to come on my special? Mm-hmm. And you said, how long was it? And I said, an hour?
Yeah?
Well, it's up.
The show is a ratings getter. The network brass quickly offer Mary her own sitcom bearing her name. Her partner in the project? Grant Tinker. The husband and wife team collaborate on a comedy about a decidedly single woman by the name of Mary Richards.
Mary Richards was actually originally intended to be a divorced woman, and CBS hated this idea. They said people don't want to see divorced people on television any more than they want to see people with mustaches, Jews, or people from New York.
Mary's character is eventually retooled on Saturday, September 19th, 1970.
Mary, what do you think?
As a nation is embroiled in anti-war protests, the Mary Tyler Moore Show debuts on the Tiffany Network.
So, you're, Rhoda Morgenstern, and I'm Mary Richards.
The Mary Tyler Moore Show came on television when I was just 12 or 13 years old.
Who can turn the world on with her smile?
The opening sequence of that show, you had sort of the fear and trepidation of driving to a new city and starting a job with people you didn't know. And it made me think, hey, I could do that. I could have a career.
CBS at first fears a show about a single woman juggling home and work, a woman who drives the quintessential muscle car, a Ford Mustang, will fail to attract an audience. They wonder if the sitcom will resonate with the stereotypical stay-at-home American housewife.
This show was not an instant hit at all.
What nobody saw coming was that she would be front and center on one of the most formative shows in television history. A show that would not only reshape the way women were portrayed in television.
I feel I represent women everywhere. Oh, Mary, that's all in your head. Oh, yeah? What would you say if the station manager kept trotting in groups of people and saying, this is our woman executive?
But would reshape the way viewers thought of themselves and thought about women in the workplace.
You're gonna make it after all.
An associate producer employed in the fictitious newsroom WJM, the character of Mary Richards has her share of run-ins with her rough-and-tumble boss, Lou Grant.
There was one scene when Mary went to Mr. Grant and said,
I would like to know why the last associate producer before me made $50 a week more than I do.
and Lou Grant looked up at her and said,
Because he was a man.
I mean, they were dealing with pay equity
Let me get this straight.
before anyone even understood the term.
As the show builds a budding audience, the Mary Tyler Moore Show also begins knocking down taboos on television,
You too, Mom.
like birth control.
Don't forget to take your pill. I won't.
That was really unheard of in the early 70s, but so funny. And as Lou Grant said,
You know what? You got spunk.
Well,
I hate spunk.
One of my favorite moments was when she told Ted Baxter,
Will you shut up, Ted?
every woman who had to deal with an egotistic, bombastic, conceited coworker, they were giving her a standing ovation at that moment.
But as forward-thinking as the show is for its day, feminists like Gloria Steinem aren't fawning over the show, or for that matter, the new fresh face of feminism.
Next to something like MASH, or next to something like All in the Family, or Good Times, or The Jeffersons, or any number of these shows, it might have looked like it was avoiding the issues on everybody's mind in the early 1970s.
Feminists really picked her apart a little bit. They wanted her to be the perfect feminist, and she wasn't.
Gee, thanks, Mr. Grant.
She called her boss Mr. Grant when everyone else around called him Lou.
As the book Mary and Lou and Rhoda and Ted points out, the sitcom is quietly breaking ground in another way, behind the scenes.
They also hired more women writers than any other show before it.
Female writers who know a thing or two about sex and the single girl.
What do you think you're doing?
Oh, I just figured it was a good
Put on
idea.
your shirt.
Oh, come on, Mary.
Put on your shirt.
You value that writing. You never take it for granted because it doesn't happen that often.
Hello?
What they could never imagine is that they were about to pave the way for future aspiring comedy writers like Lena Dunham, Amy Schumer, and Tina Fey.
If you call yours, I'll call mine.
Because before anyone ever heard of Carrie, Miranda, Samantha, and Charlotte, there was Mary, Phyllis, Sue Ann, and Rhoda.
The show is brilliant because Mary is who you want to be, who you wish you were. Rhoda is who you probably are. And Phyllis is who you're afraid you'll become. And that's pretty close to the truth.
Because if you push me, then I just might have to push back. Hard.
Come on, you can't carry that off.
I know.
But the Mary Tyler Moore Show did push back,
She went out on a date and stayed out all night.
challenging the premise, who says you can't be single and alone, but not lonely?
You looked at it and you thought, well, who needs a boyfriend? I mean, great if it happens, but who needs a guy to orient your life around?
Take care of yourself.
Mary was kicking ass on her own.
I think I just did.